Greetings all. Welcome to the One NYCHA podcast. One NYCHA, one NYCHA, one NYCHA, one people. Share. Turn your phone down, Stan. Share. Let us know where you're from. Check in from your NYCHA development if you are a NYCHA resident. If not, hit us up with your borough or city or state or country. We want to know where you're from. We want you all to check in. One NYCHA, one people. We got a phenomenal show. We're about to kick off and crack the mics. Money Mike. Let me hear y'all chime in. Y'all here? Y'all in the building?
Yes, we in the building.
Renee?
Yeah, we're in the building.
Okay. All right. All right, we got a few in the room. Let's get it going. Share the show, people. And check in. Let us know where you're from. NYCHA One People. We appreciate our viewership. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome all to One NYCHA podcast. We are happy to have you all here with us. We're going to have a phenomenal show. We have a wonderful guest. We'll get to her after we go into our week, and I'll kick it off. My week was busy and blessed as always. As many of y'all know, I'm running for state committee woman for the 68th Assembly District. A lot of petitioning, getting signatures. It's some work, but I'm having fun with it, meeting people, able to help people, having conversations. It's like I'm not even running for that office. It seems like I'm running for a higher office because I'm able to give people information, telephone numbers, contacts, sharing my number with people. And just Stan did door knocking with me this weekend. It was phenomenal, and we had a nice team. And
Yep.
He got to see a lady ask for my autograph on one of my things I was giving out, one of my little literature. So I was like almost like past. I'm like, wow, like when does this happen? But she's like, I'm with you, I'm backing you. That's me from IG, So that was a blessing. On Friday, I'm going to jump into Friday. Friday, we honored Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. Of Homes Isaacs Coalition. We did our first honoring women ceremony. It was nice. We also had from Hip Hop Health and Politics, Juanita Cabello, which is also a friend of mine's from a church we used to worship at. We met there, and she's a co-host of your show, and she's a coach, a health coach, life coach, and she gave a phenomenal speech. And it was nice to have her there and speaking before Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney.
Oh, that's great.
And Maloney actually incorporated when she spoke, her name and what she spoke about. So that was just phenomenal. So, and we had a young girl that came before Community Board 8 from my building. Her last name is Hernandez. I think Santos Hernandez. Abigail. She's in the 8th grade in the middle school, and she did a essay for the Community Board 8 Social Justice Committee on I guess the equity and with schools. So, and it was good. So I had her come for us to read since she's a young lady. We had a young entrepreneur there that makes masks and some other speakers. It was really nice. And Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney and another leader was honored. And it was just nice. It was a really nice event. It was a first for us, and I'm looking for many more for the Homes Isaacs Coalition. So shout out to the coalition, Homes Isaacs Coalition, which I'm a co-founder of. Jumping to Saturday, we fed the community. With the faith-based organizations, and that's the day Stan and I and a few of us were door knocking. Had a nice little crew, knocked out one building in an hour and a half. It was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And today I was at Julie Minnen's inauguration ceremony, and it was really nice. And the who's who, everybody literally was there, from the mayor, Tish James, Attorney General, both comptrollers were there, state and city. City council members, you name it. Maloney, Congresswoman Maloney, Congressman, of course, Chuck Schumer was there, Adriana Escobar. No, yeah, he was there too, but the speaker, Adrian Adams. Am I messing her name up? I hope I'm not messing her name up, but she was there. It was just a whole it was just so many people there, and it was an honor to be on the program. Wonderful. It was 3 NYCHA residents to speak. I had the biggest part. But it was nice, and it was a good day, and I made myself here. So with that said, my week, I'm looking forward to next week and, getting some things done and, tighten up. But I'm tired, but I'm busy and just happy to be here. I'm going to mess you up, Mike. I'm going to jump to you so we can just go ahead. We're going to work it like that. Go ahead, Money Mike.
Everybody know my week went by smooth. It went by smooth.
We know that.
But basically, I had to make some classes, of course, because, I teach CPR and AED.
Okay.
So basic life support is needed out here.
Yeah.
I had to make some classes. And not only that, a studio that I created in the Bronx and Pharaoh's Charter School.
Okay.
Damon
That's
Dash
great.
came and checked the
Nice.
studio out.
Ooh.
So,
Nice.
the podcast, he came to check because, we built 4 different studios in that school. We built a production studio, recording studio, a TV station, and a podcast.
Nice.
That's amazing.
But,
That's amazing.
yeah, so the podcast.
Give yourself some.
Oh, yeah, give myself some, right? But, the Damon Dash went in and checked out the studio, so that was this week, so.
That's what's up.
My week went by smooth, like I said. So let me just smooth it over the stand.
Stand
Wow.
man.
Okay, I know I can follow all of this.
Smooth.
Definitely, it was a pleasure to go out with Sandrea and do the door knocking and to see the respect she gets in the community. So I encourage anyone, any NYCHA resident, run for office. If you don't like what's going on, be the change that you want to be. That change, be the change you want to see. So to see her do that and step up was really great. On the negative side, unfortunately, 40-06 in Queensbridge went there this week, and folks have no heat. Even though we're approaching spring, it still gets very cold at night, and it's actually cold today. And it's unusual. Usually when there's no heat, it's on like one line or something. But this is random. It's one apartment has it, next door does, one don't. It's really something that I haven't seen that much of. I did see this in a story a little bit, but it just speaks to the real structural damage. Wow. That's really in NYCHA, where you can have one apartment with heat. Next door, they don't have heat, and this is happening. There's also a big issue with intercoms now in Queensbridge. Folks can't get their mail. People can't visit them.
Wow.
I got a call from an 88-year-old lady who says her intercom don't work, and her worker that actually takes care of her can't get upstairs to actually help her. Wow. So it's really a lot of issues that we're dealing with out here in NYCHA, but the fight is good. For any organizer, any organization, this is not easy work, so I commend any community organizer that does this work.
Yeah.
It's not, we don't get paid a lot of money to do it. And for those that volunteer
Some
also.
of us don't get paid. Right,
some
I don't get paid. Right, that's
for those
right.
who don't get paid anything, I just commend people to do this fight, because it's not it's a tough fight. You don't always get the pat on the back or whatever the case may be, but as long as the people get the help and they get the service and we're able to allow them to empower themselves and move up, then I think we're doing something great.
Wow.
So I'm glad we got a guest here, that's gonna speak about her experiences. And let's just keep this fight going. We're against the blueprint or privatization. We're not for any of that.
One NYCHA
is totally against all of that. So tune in, be educated, and be informed.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce our guest, and then she's going to jump in. But I just got to go back to when you talked about Damon Dash. I was looking at it on Netflix. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I ain't finished it yet. The Kanye documentary.
No.
I am a fan all over. Like
Of
his
Kanye West?
story, just his story, like from the bottom, like how he came up and how he was just like no budget and he had to deal. I mean, just watching. I'm not finished with it, and I know there's another side of him as well, and that comes with money and everything else. But just to watch the beginning of it, it's like just to see, because it's a documentary, when it's really phenomenal. I'm not even finished with it. I don't even know how many episodes it is, but I'm probably in like the 3rd episode. But I was like, it's really enjoyable, to see it and to see, how he had to do everything on his own and spend his own money and still make beats. How he wasn't respected as a rapper, but everybody was like, and you remember his first album was like fire.
Yeah.
Fire. Like, and it made me remember all of that music again and go, with Jamie and but anyway, you made me, jog my memory with that. I can't wait to get home and finish watching it some more. I don't know how many episodes it is. But our guest today, I'm going to call her Renee, or R, phenomenal NYCHA leader. And I'm not going to take too much of her time, but we met through the Resident Leadership Academy with CUNY students through a scholarship program. and for NYCHA residents. And she's a phenomenal leader. She has a very strong voice. She's very knowledgeable, and y'all are gonna just listen to her and hear her. And many of us know about the working group and stuff like that, so she could speak something about that. Just tell them where you're from, introduce yourself, because I don't want to. I like for you to tell people about yourself, because who you are, where you from, and what's on your mind, and then we're gonna flow.
Okay. My name is Renee Simone. I'm a lifelong resident of the Elliott Chelsea houses. We are now going undergrad with Related and Essence Development, being the new property managers. As always, they say, NYCHA will continue to own the land. So that was decided. We learned about it late last year.
Okay. So now talk a little bit. I know there's some controversy with the whole working group and some of the elected officials and such. You know, there's some big names involved. You know, so we call people out on this show. So can you speak a little bit? If you want to, only if you want to.
Working group. Let's see. The working group is a bunch of mainly community-based organizations. Jemani Williams, his person was there. Gerald Nadler, his person was there. Corey Johnson, all their people were there. Brad Hoylman, and also Richard Godfrey. All those people or their representatives were there, as well as Gail Brewer.
Right. I was going to say you. Yeah.
Okay.
So what actually happened is everyone talks about the working group. That's nice. Residents, they're not lying. The tenant association presidents are NYCHA residents. Therefore, it is correct. Residents were part of the working group. The majority of residents, the thousands of residents in Elliott, Chelsea, and Chelsea Addition and Fulton were not there.
Wow.
Okay. And so what do you feel? Do you feel the elected officials had their people there? It would appear to me that they were pushing for that. So would that be a fair assessment when you look at somebody like a Jemani? And again, you don't feel no pressure, but if this person is there, and what are your thoughts? Because that's kind of how it seems to me. But go ahead.
Well, I would say they're all saying that. So Robert Jackson as well. Let me add his as well. They all say that. Doesn't matter if you're at an organized with the representatives for public housing, and you're there. But when you came to Elliott Chelsea, you were rah saying your homes have been saved, your homes are going to be fit. So why are you then there? So I don't know what to think at this point.
Wow.
So, this is everything. The same thing with Greg Russ. I was able to find out about one meeting. I walked in. I almost didn't get in because Marnie Halassa had broadcast part of the meeting. After that, they were very
Marnie, we know Marnie.
Right. So the majority of times, the residents didn't know, were not made aware when the working group was meeting.
Wow.
Yeah. That you brought her up, we were out there at the school protesting it way early on.
I remember that, yeah.
Media was there, and Greg Russ had came in, and a few other elected officials, but it was just horrible. And we would just, I think it was it Fight for NYCHA? Lewis was with us too, right?
Yeah,
so it was a bunch of us out there, and we were fighting for it, because it should have been more open. But can you speak about, you had someone come to our class. Can you speak about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So before I want to speak about that, I should also add that the Elliott, Chelsea, and Addition houses were not made aware of it too far after Fulton was. Wow. So because they were thinking of taking down the buildings, it was always Fulton in the forefront.
Yeah.
So one time they had a meeting at IS 70, and I actually saw Brian Honan, and I asked him point blank, is the Elliott Chelsea houses included? He said nothing.
Wow.
So
sneak attack, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there may have been, maybe the presidents knew, but we didn't.
I knew about Fulton in 2019.
Right.
I was telling people, go get them, help them, because I said Justice Del Barrio down there. That's how they got connected.
Right.
Because one of my best friend lives in Fulton.
So also I should say that a friend of mine had told me that there was a rumor going around that they were going to take down one of the Fulton houses.
Right.
I didn't believe him at the time. Foolish me. So then we're finding out about this. So somewhere along the line, it all leaked out.
Okay.
At the same time, nobody, as I said, told the Elliott Chelsea houses that we were a part of it. Fulton was in the lead, most of it. The one meeting I was able to get into, somebody said, I don't quite remember, that resident management had been taken off the table.
Wow. Okay.
That was something they weren't thinking about. Now, all of a sudden, Greg Russ at the last city council committee meeting said yes, but we want to give them back the buildings in good condition. So what is he actually saying? So if it was now it's something that you're willing to talk about, why didn't you speak about it then? Or are you doing a pivot because now people are asking about resident management companies?
Right,
So what is he here to really do?
Right. So I got a question because I understand resident management corporations, but now if you have a private entity managing it, how does that work?
How does it work on the rag?
Yeah, how does that work? That sounds crazy to me.
Well, he's most likely saying about because RPPH has pushed that, and Alexis Aviles, I believe, is the new head, is someone who's in their forefront. They're willing to do that, but in most likely non-rad developments.
Right. Okay. Because from my standpoint, you can't have resident management corporation in RAD. You know,
With a takeover like that, right?
It doesn't. You know, that seemed like they're pacifying folks and just trying to just say whatever.
Confusing people,
Right,
too.
right.
Misleading people.
Right.
Deceiving people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, he's doing that, but this is his job. He's a salesman.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the job, is to sell the blueprint, to
Right.
sell other people getting control of NYCHA properties.
Right.
That's what he's doing. So
Absolutely.
related companies, in my case, I think of it as public housing as well, because it is our money that went into it. It's our money that subsidizes, and I mean us as in everybody who lives in New York has subsidized it.
Right.
That's from the 6 NYCHA developments that they use as from the Economic Development Corporation that they use to get $1.4 billion into it. And also the fact that we also built the subway. That's our dollars.
Right.
They are public housing.
Wow.
That's how I define it. I don't define it like anyone else does.
Right. And so, can you speak to the conditions in the building now that RAD is taking over? I mean,
RAD has not have taken over. They still have 2 years.
They're 2 years. Okay.
All of a sudden, one thing I can say is all of a sudden asbestos abatement is happening. I mean, our staircase was cleaned. It would have been better to do that in the buildings. If you're going to power hose anything, power hose the staircases within the building.
Right.
Don't do it. Nice you did it outside, but in the building. Would it be even better?
So I just want to be clear. So in 2 years, the conversion is going to be completed. Is that what it is in 2
That's
years?
what, yeah.
Okay, but they've confirmed that it's going to be going to be converted.
The selection process has been done. That was done by a resident committee.
Okay.
They did take people's names. They did let people know it was happening. Except there was like 13 people at the meeting. Part of the reason there were so few people at the meeting is that you also had to register by phone, do a temperature check, and all those things. This was in last year prior to COVID, you know, when it was still really harsh COVID, and that people were taking it. You know, you had to do all that. Now, if you didn't tell people that ahead of time, they're gonna have problems. And everyone doesn't have a phone that's able to do that, and everyone doesn't understand that.
Everybody didn't want to
they
go
snuck
out
this
in
in
COVID.
during COVID-19. They kind of just forced
And
this.
people didn't want to assemble, right? Because
Right.
it was detrimental to your
Right.
health.
Right.
So you did have the resident committee. I believe you had to do an NDA. I did not do that.
Wow.
Wow. This is mind-boggling.
Tell
to me
people what
today.
an NDA is.
This is incredible.
Non-disclosure agreement.
Uh-huh.
So usually in an RFP,
That's crazy.
even with HPD, if they do it, they do non-disclosure. They do make sure that you don't find out who the other people are involved. That I know because I'm a gardener in East Harlem, and the block was taken. It's now called Sendero Verde. The gardens will be coming back, 4 out of 6 of them, but we did look at the RFP process. So that's one of the things I learned.
Wow.
So NDA, what is the purpose? I'm not understanding that either. Like, why would they make you sign an NDA? I'm just like amazing to me.
I don't know.
Wow.
Being secret.
Wow.
Keeping everything secret.
And so, what role did the resident council presidents play? I mean, was word getting out? Were they informing people, or did they? I mean, like, what happened with that?
For that, there was a flyer that
Right.
said, and that put their names on it, but also you had to scan a QR code. That's not something that's going to be very helpful. NYCHA is an org,
Right.
so, that's not exactly helpful. They did leave names, phone numbers, where, if you can get in touch with Darlene, you have to know where she's at. I know where she hangs out at.
Right.
But at the same time, that is not really helpful. And who are you actually trying to get?
So you had to scan a code to do what? Like what?
To do the resident, be part of the resident committee that would bring up the application for you to be a part of.
So they made it as difficult, in my mind, as possible for residents to participate, be involved, have a voice, or even know what's going on from what you're describing.
Yes, but then I can also say everybody does that because so many people do not want people involved.
Well, that's a fact. That's a fact. So now, how are the residents feeling now that this is happening? I mean, are they mostly against it, for it, and now what are they feeling? And
I'm not sure, to be quite honest. I've spoken to people. They want the homes fixed. At the same time, they want security. Like everyone, other NYCHA building, our homes are other people's shelter. So
Right.
you have people coming in, hanging on the staircase, and that seems to be one of the really main concerns, because they're saying that they'll have people walking the block. We're 4 blocks. Having 2 people on a block is not helpful.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. How does Renee feel about it?
I am far from happy about it.
Okay.
I had very little to say about it. Our goal is to be in engagement. I want my home fixed. I want my family safe. I want my community safe. I want my neighbors safe.
Okay.
If we could do a resident management corporation, I'd be far happier. More than that, we are in deep trouble no matter what.
Right.
Housing has to be built in this city. We are in deep trouble if we are not capable of doing it. NYCHA needs to be fixed. They need to go into everyone's walls. And I mean not just one. Every wall, pull everything out and just rip them all out and then put everything back.
And that would cause a lot of displacements. People have to move out, and
Yes.
yeah,
They're saying it's going to be done in place, but as I said before, we have a lot of older people. They can't be in there. It's just bad for their
because
health.
they're doing a lot of asbestos abatements now.
Right.
Yes.
With people, if there's something wrong with their tiles, even with the ceiling, people are moving, they're shuffling, and all these vacant apartments that NYCHA has,
Right.
they're able to move certain families into them. But if you have like our last guest that had a 3-bedroom, they had to put her up in a hotel. So, and that's, let me jump into the chat stand and then you can go ahead. Okay, we got Lopez from New York watching and a whole lot of others. Hey, I guess from last year, week. Rodney Jones says, good afternoon. Theo Chino's in there giving us some feedback.
Well.
Every time I think from his
Theo.
show, it was funny.
Yeah.
You had us laughing, but anyway. Aisha Cobb, I hope I said that right. Said I was just canvassing in North Carolina yesterday for low income. Okay. Lopez from New York. Hello, One NYCHA. Hope you are all well. Yes, we are. Thank you. And I shot a little video yesterday because I was at an event last night too with a few people with 700 strong, and he had somebody gave him a pillow. It said 6'8". They made a pillow, and
Very impressive
what he
guest.
said to me. While we were upstairs, I was like, "Oh, we got to get that for One NYCHA." So we went downstairs where it was more quiet and did it, but because it was just fire. You saw that, right? Yeah, he's fire. Tanya's watching. Hey, Miss Carolyn Felder. Good afternoon. She's from Wagner. Good to see you. Emily's watching. Y'all know Emily Johnson that we had on the show from Carver Houses. She's in the building. Chino says, if you have NDA that need to be released. I'm reading how he wrote it, y'all. That need to be released. Send them to me. It just jumped. Send them to me, and I will leak them with pleasure. Keeping the people's secrets. Okay.
I hope they hear you because I don't know who was on everyone who was on that group.
Okay. Thelma Bradley says hello. Thanks so very much for going live. I live in NYCHA. Okay, well, welcome. Go ahead, Stan. Thank you all for your viewership. Give us comments. If you have a question for Renee, feel free to type it in and we can ask it. You want to say
Yes, I'm just trying to wrap my whole head around this whole experience. It seems criminal in essence. It's systemic racism. It's criminal. It's crooked. It's all of that. And these politicians got to be caught out. Jemani and all of us, and then with Gail Brewer, whoever else was in that working group, who are very silent when it comes to NYCHA issues. If they talk about everything else, or you may have the 100 worst landlord list, whatever the case may be, but beyond that, what else is happening?
Nothing's done.
What else is happening?
We need the people's lawyer. Where's Denali at? We need him. We need him to do some work.
Absolutely.
We need him. We got to get him to do some work.
Absolutely.
FOIA request and all.
And so when they talk about this resident manager corporation, there was no offering of any training to do this, because that's a very difficult thing to do.
And
I
it's
know
parts.
Right,
There's
there's issues, right? So speak a little bit more about that, because I know that word is going around, that term is going around, but very few of us have the training to do it. So did they discuss any of that with you at all?
Well, this happened in the one meeting I was able to get into, where Citizens Housing Planning Council, Jessica Katz, was actually there, and someone just said it was off the table. That's not something. Now, I wasn't there when they were actually discussing it because I was only at that one meeting. So this must have been prior meetings to the one I was actually in. So I don't know about that. I know that it takes training to do that. You're going to have to learn the ins and out of the systems, the things you can and can't do, how to spend the money, how to get a budget. All that is part of it.
Which HUD's supposed to be supplying the training for. Now, the new management company, has they done anything? Are you still dealing with NYCHA? Are they the ones responsible for repairs, or is this new group?
No, NYCHA is still responsible
2 years.
for
She said
repairs.
2 years.
Okay. Wow, that's incredible.
Want to speak about can you jump into the guy you bought, the gentleman you
I
had?
asked Jamar Adams from Essence Development to come and speak to class. So he did so on Zoom. So he became the founder. They have 4 employees at this time. They've partnered with Related, where he used to work. He founded Essence in February 2021.
Okay.
And he said he used to run from downtown to his office at Hudson Yards, and he saw these developments. Once it came online, he partnered with Related, and they actually got the RFP. They did go through the RFP. It was the resident council that. Resident Review Council. He came before them and he spoke about it. He's very emphatic. He really discusses his past in public housing, then affordable housing. Public housing is affordable housing. It's not any different.
Right.
Everyone who's in affordable housing these days, you're basically NYCHA, to be quite honest.
Wow.
Facts.
Because you're in environmental justice areas, you're on the side where there are all sorts of things, you're having certain people herded together in one area, you are NYCHA.
Right.
So tell me a little more about Essence and what exactly what are they? What type of organization is this?
Essence is a development corporation. Jamar Adams worked with Related. He would say they did affordable housing, so they did Riverwalk. They did Riverwalk in Roosevelt Island.
Okay.
There are lower apartments, $500, $600. Some of those there's like studios, but then you also have the high priced ones as well. Basically, the usual 421A stuff.
Right.
They've done it in other areas as well. They also did Wynn out in the Rockaways. They worked with Wynn out in the Rockaways there, so they'll say they've done supportive housing. So yes, NYCHA will be the first development they've dealt with.
Wow, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Roosevelt Island as a whole is so mixed out there.
So
it's beautiful too.
So are you happy with his track record, or are there some concerns or questions?
I don't know his track record. I don't know the Related's track record. People will say Related is part of the community. I don't see them as part of the community, to be quite honest. Hudson Yards is its own enclave. And they'll say, yes, they're in other parts, like in Hell's Kitchen, but Chelsea is not Hell's Kitchen. Chelsea, where I live, is not there. Some people will say Miguel Acevedo, he was on the Chelsea Reform Democratic Club. He simply said, we're the eyesore.
Wow.
Because we're the NYCHA developers, we don't look like we belong in the neighborhood, except we've been in the neighborhood longer than other people.
Everything
who are
else,
in
right?
it.
Yeah, right. Everything been built around you all.
Wow.
Yeah, like Google and everything else, right?
Right.
So Google took over the Port Authority of New York building. That's nice, but Google, I don't see it as part of the neighborhood anyway.
Right.
Everything is in there. They don't
That
need to
area
come
has
out.
changed.
Right.
Dramatically, like drastically. Let me ask you this: have they made discuss any changes under this conversion? Like, what can y'all, or what are they promising, in apartments? in the building?
The apartments, in the building, we would be decoupled from the Con Ed system. So they're going to have to go to the roof, put the heating systems on the roof, but before they can even bother to do that, they have to fix the roofs first. So I know in my building, there's a problem with the roof. Then you bring the heating system up. You're going to have to do it that way. Then there also will be a backup generator on that.
So they're going to build a generator
They're
on the
going to have
land.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll be the new Penn South.
that's going to be fun because we have we have 2 generators on our property at Isaac Houses. That's going to be fun. I'm going to tell you, and that's
Right.
from FEMA money. It is no jokes. Elevators, everything, lights. It's crazy.
Right.
So enjoy the ride, and then once you go, you're not under Con Ed no more. That's going to be another thing because when we lost electricity, and it was July, like the day before July 4th, I think July 3rd, they were calling people. It took them like 11 or 10 hours to get to, because they were away, and Con Ed couldn't do nothing. Once they make that change, Con Ed can't do anything.
Oh, well, also one of the things Jamar said, there will be a super on site.
Okay.
So he did say that. So at the same time, they said the usual new elevators. Hopefully new doors that slam shut because, we're in NYCHA. Doors do not slam. So, you keep screaming about that. That's nice. But, I also had to call up to get the window glass in the doors. So you're telling me to shut the doors, but, you can't fix the window glass that's not in the doors. That doesn't really make sense.
Right.
So
right,
they
right.
finally did it. So that's now done. At the same time, bathroom. Possibly going into the walls. They're going to have to do that, as I said. If all you do is a cosmetic fix and you don't go into the walls, you're not doing anything. The building will just fall around and fall
Right.
down eventually.
So they're saying they are, because I know in other conversions, bad conversions, like Ocean Bay and some of the others, we're finding all the repair issues are coming back. The molds coming back, the lead, all those issues. So I don't understand and see how they can even attempt to fix this
With
building
people in
with
apartments.
the people in there. I mean, if you
Right.
can there's asbestos in there. I'm sure there's lead and everything else. I mean, so. It's like they're selling y'all a dream because there's
Is it
no way in
bath
the world.
fitters? What are they? I mean, are they going to work with the leaks? They repairing the leaks? Or they're talking about like bath fitters, giving you a new look to the bathroom? Because we had that at home some years ago, and I don't know. We all might have been exposed to asbestos because it was all pulled out, and then they threw these bath fitters in. Now Isaac's is not like that. It has the original tiles and everything, but we all have the water, the water issues, the infrastructure, and the bathroom issues.
Well, they're going to say that they have said they're going to take care of everything. So they're going to the apartments and they're going to look at what each apartment needs. As I said, Elliott, Chelsea, there are 3 parts of it. The Elliott's 1946, the Chelsea 1962, and I believe the senior edition, that's called Chelsea Edition Senior Building, about 1969.
People playing numbers with them. People gonna be playing numbers.
So there are 3 different parts to this development.
Right.
So what you do, and every building, it's its own thing. So my building has the actual boiler system.
Right.
So even if you decouple it, we know that there are problems with the system. It has to be balanced in a certain way.
Right.
So
right.
if you don't do it right, all the heat goes into the building that we're connected to, and it doesn't go into us.
Right.
So
Right.
we had that problem a few years ago, and then NYCHA had to come in and fix it because GHS was not capable of dealing with it.
Okay.
They just kept cranking it up, and then Joey Coach had to come and do the mea culpa apology.
Now, I know back that you guys had like a lot of rallies and there's a lot of activity going on, at one point. So is there any organizing effort with the residents now happening now to keep an eye on this and monitor this? Can you speak to that?
That's really difficult. That was mainly in Fulton
Right,
because
no,
Fulton
that's-
got the head start.
Right.
We're in COVID. We're still in COVID.
Right.
People are not coming off their floors.
Right.
I'm very honest about that. There are some people who do not come off their floors at all.
Right. Right. That's the shame of this, is that they do this at this particular time, and this is not by accident. They know it's tough to organize and fight, while they're having their backroom deals and just pushing this stuff down people's throats. It's incredible. It's really incredible. But we got to keep this fight. We got to keep this fight. We have to keep the fight going. And any way we can help promote it, and get the word out, we're certainly here to do that for sure.
Yeah. It's just troubling because I'm just trying to imagine if they're really going to do the actual fix that's needed. people are going to be displaced. Some people.
Well, I can share a Harvard story. There's somebody going to in Woodside. She's traveling all the way from Trenton, New Jersey. So I mean, she got displaced all the way out the entire city, out of the state,
For
and
what?
to fix her apartment.
NYCHA?
And they were gonna get it done. They promised, and these are the concerns. They
How long has it been?
They said that when we first sent the letter of complaint, they said they're gonna fix it in 3 weeks. That was 3 weeks ago, and they haven't started the work yet. And then I found out she's been living in Trenton for 9 months.
Trenton, wow.
So she's actually displaced out the state. So this is why they have to be concerned.
Family or they?
No, her and her son had to go move with her sister.
That's okay. So
right. We showed those pictures. Remember those pictures we showed,
So
all the holes in the wall and all the rest of that.
Okay.
And and so these promises that they make, they already broke them because it's already 3 weeks and you haven't even started the work yet.
They should have put her in either apartment or a hotel. She shouldn't have had to go live with family.
Right.
Out of state as well, because that's something she has kids and everything like
Right.
that. That's just totally unacceptable. And then it also allows NYCHA to be off the hook for finances.
And I went to the office and spoke to the management, and I'm like, they were like, well, she didn't say she needed a place. No, but it's your job to be able to tell the resident that we have options for you. We're not going to move you out of your home.
But
and then don't have no place for you to go.
That's what they do.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, you should get in touch with elected officials for her, because they need to bring her back and put her in a hotel and take care of it, or they could have put her in an apartment that suits the needs. Like with NYCHA that was on the show, they didn't have the 3 bedrooms available for her. So, but then when they put her in a hotel, it was smaller, so she didn't get the space she needed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at least it was across the street from our development. So, because we have a Marriott over there, so they put her there.
Right.
They were talking about putting her in a hotel downtown.
Yeah. So what they're saying is that there are empty apartments in the LA Chelsea houses. So they're going to fix those first. Those can either be someplace that people can move into, or they're going to be apartments that people can be in during the day while the repairs are being made.
Well, I hope they have enough, because if they got to do that much work,
the environmental issue is a problem.
Right.
Okay. The dust, the debris, what's in the air, the possible lingering of asbestos debris. No, you can't have. Go
really
here
makes
while
no
I
sense.
fix this.
Right, that makes no sense.
Well, they're doing that now when they're doing asbestos. I mean, I've seen they're doing asbestos abatement, and I'm seeing a woman sitting outside her apartment while it's being done.
It depends, I guess, because I know NYCHA was a whole floor.
Right.
So it was the tiles. So it was the whole. So she had to move, literally move out.
So in that case, you said the lady's sitting outside. So was she gonna go back in her apartment that day? Or, I mean, because if you're doing the work, it's still lingering stuff
Because
around.
NYCHA don't give a damn.
So
let's
she's supposed to go
say
back
what it
into
is.
her apartment? Is that what?
Where's Roger Flores at? Roger Flores. We need Roger Flores. You need to hear this.
Wow,
he needs to hear this. This is dangerous.
Unbelievable.
Why would I go back in that apartment and y'all just was doing an abatement? I'm going back there. No. You got to bring... No. This is unacceptable.
I mean, they do put up the signs that the abatement is being done, but would I want to be there around then? No. Would I want to be there a week later? No.
Wow. This is... I just can't believe it.
No, you can believe it. It's NYCHA. They're not new to this. They true to this. Come on. Ain't nothing changed.
I mean,
ain't nothing changed.
Really putting people's health at risk. I mean, first of all, you're uprooting them, putting people's health at risk, not doing a good job. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to become the question too. Like, really, what are you really doing? It's just horrible.
And who are they hiring to do it?
Right.
Is it being done right?
Right.
Who's the contractors or whoever they are?
So is there a lot of fear amongst residents? I'm sure there's some concern and fears about, not being, I'm sure there's concerns and fears.
That's the hard thing. A lot of this is being done over Zoom. And a lot of people are not always, they come out, but it's always, this is what we're going to do. I mean, you're not going to be losing your apartment. You still have succession rights. It's not going to go above 30%. And at the same time, you have to understand, Elliott Chelsea is a mixed finance. So the state was the financer for the Chelsea houses. And they are also the defunder as well. So you already have Section 8 in there.
Wow. Okay.
So that's an unusual. That's not really unusual, because these are most likely the ones they're going to turn first.
Right. So you have a mixture of Section 8 already.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
So some people come with the voucher in the development.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, they may keep the voucher, but the rest, everyone else goes into tenant base, which goes to the apartment, not the person.
Right.
And a year later, after conversion finishes, you then are able to get a mobile voucher, which you can use anywhere. That's at least what they're saying.
Right. But I have no trust, in any of that. They've already shown, that they've lied. They've shown that in all the other conversions. They've converting other buildings that we don't even hardly know about. They're moving people in with Section 8. That's another way to do it. And it's all very sneaky and just you can't trust it.
They also need, when they're doing this, they need a health expert on board to make sure that if you sitting in the hallway,
right,
you can guarantee that when you go back in, there's nothing going to happen to you and all that. And they can't. But you know what I mean? They just want to do this work without even finding out the aftermath or the repercussions or whatever is going to, harm the resident down the road.
Right.
This is crazy.
This is NYCHA.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. Like they literally, I said it before, they killing us. They don't care. They're killing us.
Yeah.
Killing us. Like you said, it was development. People had cancer and stuff.
Yeah, well,
family. It was a family,
I grew
right?
up in Lafayette Gardens, and this is way back in the '60s.
It's where Ty is at.
She said, you know what, a whole family within our development, several other people have got cancer. So it seems really strange if a whole family and everybody got cancer in one apartment, and not believe that has something to do with that apartment.
So we're a cancer cluster too now.
Yeah,
it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Asbestos it depends. It can give cancer and some other things. Yeah.
So tell me about this class that you guys are in. Speak a little bit about that. The class you guys are taking, and what are you learning, and what? Yeah, just how is that working out for you?
It makes you think. When you go into leadership, what is the job?
Right.
When you go into nonprofit organizations, what is the job?
Right. Right.
You have to start really thinking and understanding words.
Right.
So when you go leadership, what is? How do you define it?
Right.
When you're going to be a head of an organization, when you're being brought in, what are you organizing? Are you organizing or are you managing? So things like that you have to start asking.
Okay.
So Greg Russ is the head of the New York City Housing Authority. He does not deal with its operation. Why was he brought in here? He was brought in here to implement something that would allow people to NYCHA to save money, to implement the blueprint, change it into Section 8. That's his skill set.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying get rid of Greg Russ, you get rid of the reason he was brought in. He's a symptom of a problem.
That's right.
Talk about
Don't
it.
Don't fixate on it.
That's right.
Talk about it. Yeah.
And so now, let me put you on the spot. What do you think of our mayor and his silence on the issue? Because he speaks about a whole bunch of stuff, but still to this day, as big as his mouth may seem on issues, I don't hear that much about NYCHA out of his mouth at all. So what are your thoughts as a resident going through this uncertainty? With a new mayor, there are a lot of NYCHA residents I'm sure voted for.
I wouldn't be sure about that.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, say that, Stan.
What can I say? I am not happy about the new mayor, to be quite honest. What can I not say? Oh my God. The Twin Parks, that's just, that was a whole new another level.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so bad.
Well, yeah.
He's just a whole number.
Yeah.
The people he has surrounded himself with. Oh my God. Whole new level.
Nepotism.
Nepotism, borderline criminality. I don't even know what to say at this point. Just because someone's black is not the reason to vote for somebody.
Yeah. Skin folk
I
ain't
don't
always
care.
kinfolk.
I don't care.
Right.
I agree with Son of Baldwin. Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Oh God.
You done took her there. He done took you there, right?
I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Let me
Yeah.
and if you want to come back into that, you can. Yeah, the Resolute Leadership Academy, where we're colleagues, and it's several of us. We've had Ty on the show. Our first course was the history of public housing. Our second course was on organizing. Our third course, which we're in now, is on nonprofit, and the last one will be on policy. Right. And it's, we are a great cohort. Our professors speak highly of us, and we all get along. Right. We literally get along, even when we don't, right? But we do. We get along, and we got to chat, and we're colleagues, right? And everyone's bringing something to the table, right? If it's Renee, if it's Ty, if it's Shay, we call Professor Shay, one of them. She'll be on. She has a nonprofit. She's one of the our colleagues that has a nonprofit. Y'all know Ty that was on the show. He's a resident council president. Yep. You're in leadership. Juan, one of them work. I said his name, but he works for NYCHA, so we get on him sometimes. So Miss Bond. But it's just. It's nice, it's nice. And, we started huge, kind of, sort of, and it dwindled down, because, it's just not for everybody, or sometimes it's just not the right time, but we're all sticking with it, and we're going to get through this, together. And it's a good course, and I'm glad to have met them, and we're actually we vibe off each other, and we all agree that we're learning not just what we're being taught, but from one another. And that's important, because each one teach one. Right. If Renee needs to picky on that, she can.
Yeah, it's been great. We learned about what a resident council president is. We learned a lot of that from Ty. But at the same time, CCOP has got to step up.
Okay, now say that. So tell people who they are, and what role do they play, and why do you say that?
Citywide Council of Presidents. If you're going to be strong, everyone's got to know what they're doing. Everyone has to know about leadership. Everyone needs to know about 964. I can't even find a website for them. You have them divided on Bronx, what development is Bronx? What the Bronx East, Bronx West, Manhattan North, or Manhattan South. All these different developments, which belongs in which categories. That would be a good way for people and resident leaders to get together and speak to one another. Maybe they know each other, maybe they don't. I don't know. But frankly, training, leadership, that's something they need to also be a part of and do. You did an MOA. What did the resident leadership say about that, Danny Barber? Those are the questions you need to start asking.
Go ahead, say it, define it, MOA.
Oh, sorry. Memorandum of Agreement. Right. Mm-hmm. So those are things you have to do. If you're going to have strong leadership, they all need to know. They all need to know how to do things, how to get things done. We've spoken to Ty, and it's been an eye-opener. We learn about the tenants protection, the tenants fund, the things you can do with it.
TPA funding.
So all that is the things, you can actually pay for some help someone do a course. Right. Do the tenants know this?
Yeah.
No. Not all of them.
No, I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Yeah.
So you can do OSHA training, helping them advance in their job. All these other things you can do. Do the residents know? Is there somewhere they can see what 9064 is? Mm-hmm. Is there somewhere they can contact Danny Barber or the person who's head? Even NYCHA, the property manager. Mm-hmm. Now, we can figure out, because we know how NYCHA does it, but the property manager, the person who's above them, all those things residents should know. Right. There should be a way for that to be found.
Maybe some type of little handbook or something. Right, yeah. I have some things I could send to you, and I'm sure Ty has stuff too for us. But, yeah.
So I guess you're saying the information is not
leadership too. It's about leadership. Yeah, yeah. That's been very typical.
Okay.
Within public housing. And I'm not going to say all. Right. Ty is he stands out. Right. And there's some others. We're going to have another lady that's going to come on. She stands out. I won't give her name yet.
Right.
She stands. So we have some that really stands out. And, you should want someone, whatever position you is, you should teach.
Well, the more everybody knows, the more powerful everybody we will be.
Right. But then some might not want to give up their spot. So, keep you in. I don't know what it is. But then we also as people, we have to dig and do research ourselves.
Right.
And we can learn on our own too. So, because we have to advocate for ourselves. You don't have to go to your resident council president to get things done. You really don't.
Right.
To each his own. If you're comfortable, some people don't like their council president. That's just what it is, and it's not isolated. It's some people that are not comfortable going to their resident, and then there's some that do go to them.
Right,
You understand what I'm saying? And there's some that come to you and I as organizers and reach out to,
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
Renee has helped people. Ty helps people.
Right.
And he's in Brooklyn, but he'll help, and that's like with anybody.
Sure,
And
sure.
I've connected a lot of residents with Danny Barber and got some work done. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not a resident council president.
Right,
But
right.
I have his information, and I know me and Danny go way back, way back, like years. So,
Right.
like, yeah.
So you mentioned a memorandum of understanding
Of agreement.
So was that an agreement with? Because I think I saw something. Was there an agreement with
Greg Russ.
Yeah, that's and so what do you? Because I was concerned when I saw it. 'Cause I'm like, okay, well, what is the agreement? And so, what do you think it is, from your opinion? Because it did concern me. It's like, what are we in agreement with Greg Russ about? Or what would be the agreement? And so I'm curious.
I'm not quite sure what it is. I mean, you have an agreement, that's nice, but did you speak to the resident council presidents? Were they in agreement with you doing this? That's a question to be asked.
Legitimate question.
Right. Do you have a training for your resident council? Do you have it?
Especially
If
that
you
new
don't-
one. Especially that new one coming in, right?
Yeah. So do you have it?
Right.
Those are questions to be asked.
Right.
Is there a website? If not a website, do you have an Instagram page, a Facebook page? Help me.
Right.
All that stuff. All that stuff that you're going to have to do and get up. Is, should they be trained that they need to have office hours? Do they?
Right.
Do you know where to find them? Now, yes, I have Darlene's number. I can get in touch with her. But, everyone doesn't have that. Everyone doesn't know that. I can give it out. But at the same time, there should be a listing of, every resident council president should have a email or a website where the people can get in touch with them, and they need to have office hours. And that's normal. People need to know where to and how to get in touch with you.
Right. And I know in my organizing
Direct
work,
numbers,
I'm
direct,
constant, and I guess we in conflict sometimes, and we're not throwing all resident council presidents under the bus. There's some good ones, bad ones. There's good people in everything that we all do, but there is a
podcast, there's bad podcasts, right? So come on.
But that has been a common complaint. I know in some of the developments that I organize in, they do come to Justice for All because they're not able to go to their resident council president in many cases. And that's not being critical; it's just being truthful.
But I want to say this: when there's a complaint about someone, and this we could take the resident council presidents out the equation, but they fit into it with anything. If there's a complaint about somebody and their duties or their functions or what they're doing, you have to hear that as a leader, and then you have to correct it. You know what I mean? Like you have to listen to, because they're your constituents.
Right.
You have to hear them. And sometimes complaints make us better. So if you want to be better, if I want to be better, if you get criticized, it depends on what it is and how it's coming.
Right.
You have to sometimes take a look back and, am I doing this the way it should be done? Sometimes that helps you be a better leader.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes everything is impersonal. It's business.
Right.
This is business. You dealing with, that's like with our elected officials. We hold them accountable, right? And we get on them, and if they don't get it together, we're not voting them back in next time.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
it makes people better.
And so, do you feel? It's another loaded question, but do you think the resident council presidents and y'all, do you feel like y'all was sold out in some sense?
Honestly,
Bought and sold.
yes.
That's an honest answer.
I want to say something from Eleanor Bumpers. Hey, Eleanor Bumpers, we miss you. She says Eric Adams got hired to play a part, and he is.
Yeah.
Kim
Yeah.
is in the building. Quite a bit of I don't see any questions for you though, but people listening. We got a nice amount of people tuning in. All right.
And would you think that's a sentiment of many of the residents? I mean, I know you can't speak for them all, but it seems as though there was a lack of information, lack of involvement. Some got pushed through, and someone in that position, if you against it, then you should be able to, rally the residents around and, let them know what's going on. If that was not happening, then one would have to assume they were for it, and then, it does sound like y'all got sold out.
I mean, I've never speak. Yeah, it's not good. That's the least of what I can say.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, that's fair enough.
I mean, the residents as a whole should have been there, had the opportunity to know when the working group was meeting, when they were just starting it. You could have had an auditorium. This was pre-COVID. Yeah. And then,
we was out there.
Right.
So that's they did that at Fulton. They did have some meeting in PS 33, but once that happened and the working group was starting to get together, it would have been better to have let the residents know when, and not by putting one flyer on the first floor, because as I said, people do not come off their floors.
Right.
And that was even pre-COVID, because some people are older and they just don't.
Missed the information.
Right.
And just not in English, Spanish. You are quite aware that you have an Asian population in the building.
Right.
In the building. So, it's mainly English and Spanish. If you need some kind of Cantonese or Mandarin, you can go to the office. Wow. It's not a hospitable place, so I do my best to stay out of the office.
Wow.
Well, what everyone says about NYCHA people in the office is pretty much true in Chelsea, Elliott, Chelsea as well.
Wow.
The attitudes are there.
Yeah.
So, it's a place you do your best to stay out of. So, if it had been done that way, you can say this is something the residents say.
Right.
At the same time, you're not lying when you say that, because as I always say, they are also residents.
Right.
So you have to ask for the context. The question should really be how many residents were there in the working group, and how many made this decision out of the thousands that live in the development. That's the real question.
Yeah.
Right. Because to say you have a few, and speaking for the many, and the many is not aware of really what's even being spoken about, is not real true representation. That's just how they play the game.
That was the question I asked
That's how they play the game.
The man that came,
Yeah. And they always do that. That's what developers do when they come in our community.
Right.
They have some sort of fake community engagement,
because they have to.
Right, just to say, we try to reach, and we did this, that, and the other, and then they go forth and really do what they want to do.
Right.
And NYCHA, this really is no different. It's a real estate deal. It's a development deal, and they're doing it the same way. And folks are getting paid, making a whole lot of money on the expense of residents who are now fearful about losing their homes.
And it's not a land grab, but it's a property grab. Right. So they're going to own the land, so it's a property grab.
Right.
Still money.
Right. No, this is horrible. We need to expose it. I'm glad you were able to get some of it out, and I hope people are listening in the other developments that are going to be going through this. This sounds confusing and just really crazy.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to go for the working group idea. Gail Brewer always stresses it, the working group, make sure you have a working group. So I think some people will be listening to her if they come to their NYCHA developments. Let's have our own working group, because I remember seeing I think it was community board, who was there? Her old community board, Rosenthal. Mm-hmm. Suddenly a NYCHA resident said, oh, we need to have our own working group as well. So, everyone's being sold on the idea of a working group, but nobody's really asking who was part of the working group.
Right. And how big is a working group? A working group should be not just a working group, it should be open to, in my opinion, to all residents no matter what. I mean, everybody should be involved and invited.
And I get meetings when they're huge. You can't get everybody communicating because it's hard. So I understand a small group, but they have to come back to the masses, right? And then get feedback from the mass. Because if that's the leadership, then so be it. But then get the feedback from the masses, and then give the pushback
Right.
that the people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because sometimes you can't have 100 people. You could, but it won't really be that effective. That's going
Right.
to be hard.
Right.
So I understand that, but the way they did it, that wasn't even, because we were outside.
Right,
We
I
were
remember that.
outside. I
Yeah,
guess
we-
that was the public school. We was by our
Yeah,
school.
we was out there.
Yeah.
And we saw them walking
With
in
Marty
and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pitiful. You know, the people that live there and fighting can't get in, and these other people just walk. It was sad.
The
to see.
mayor went that night too. We were
Yeah,
there.
it was sad to see that.
out
It was
there,
really,
yeah.
it was really
Yeah,
tough
the
to see
former
that.
Mayor. Not this one. The
Bill,
former.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
De Blasio. Yeah.
Nah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's what they do in the NYCHA residence. It's like, come on, this is crazy. But
We gonna fight back and win.
yeah,
though.
gotta stay informed.
Yeah,
but
we can't-
it's
we can't
happening.
just give
Harlem
up.
River houses,
Right.
you know, they're doing their lease. I think, right? They're
Yeah,
doing their leases.
yeah, I know they.
so
Yeah.
They fought it for a while, and you know,
And is there any way for this to be? I know there's some talk about maybe being able to reverse this stuff. You know, is there anybody ever reach out to you guys about maybe reversing the
is it a done
the
deal?
conversion?
I have no idea if it's a done deal. I mean, right now it's 2 years in. So, will the state, fund NYCHA?
Okay,
The
so
15
it's not done then. Okay,
So will the city kick in the money that
Okay.
these people should kick in because they have between them 21 developments that they funded and defunded.
okay,
So
Right.
if they put some money in, could that help?
okay. Yeah, because they were supposed to break ground at Homes, 2019 of June. Didn't happen, but we did our fighting.
Right.
But that was they had a set day to break ground. So got
Now,
time
are they-
to still organize.
So they're not pushing y'all to sign leases, and are they doing that yet?
not yet.
Not yet.
No one
Okay.
knew that.
That's when it's really
yeah.
that's when it's really like, okay, it's
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
It's really
yeah.
happening.
Man, so if it's not yet, well, it's not done then.
I'm gonna connect you with one of the ladies from Harlem River houses that went through NYCHA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I connect y'all? Yeah, because they went through it. So maybe you can speak to her and kind of get an idea of the 2 years, because the 2 years can be 3 years or the 2
Right.
years can be a year. It can change. That's what they say, but.
Yeah.
NYCHA's known for a sneak attack. They'll come around with leases tomorrow after this show. You know what I'm saying? Right?
I know. And Wise Towers, that became the issue up there. I'm not sure where they are in that fight, but
Okay.
that's where they got to a point. They're like, we don't want to sign these leases. And to my knowledge, if you don't sign the leases, then it can't go forward. That's just what I believe. I could be wrong.
And if so,
But that's-
that's a good stop.
Right, but
The
if you
people
don't
to
sign them, then they can't move forward.
But then you also want your repairs. You want your homes repaired. But then it's all about funding. It's all about our local, state, and federal government funding NYCHA. They do not have to do this. They do not have to
Right.
do this to make somebody else wealthy or to make somebody else a new slumlord.
Right.
Or bring in Wavecrest and companies like that to continue to be a slumlord.
Right. And you guys also have an option of suing. There's lawsuits. I'd be very curious to see what a lawsuit would look like in a conversion, a rad conversion,
before it happens,
before it actually
yeah.
happens.
Yeah. To get your repairs.
Right. Because you probably may have some leverage there. Yeah, I would imagine a lawsuit would create a lot of media attention.
We need the people's lawyer,
And
Donali.
yeah, Donali, if you're listening, we
Rodriguez, we need the people's lawyer.
because you might be able to cause some attention that way, and bring a lawsuit against them before they convert you guys over.
Yeah.
It's a strategy you guys definitely have available to you guys.
Yeah.
And with any help we could be in that process.
We're trying to give some hope. I know it's hard. It got to be hard.
Yeah.
We know what you need and want.
Yes.
But you don't like how it's being done.
Being done.
Right. Yeah.
Not being asked, not being discussed
Right.
with.
Yeah. Okay. Like
Right.
you can run over me and say do this and do that. I know the battle, even though it wasn't that, but it still was something, and it's tough, But keep fighting and keep. Keep your ears open, yeah. Because you're a smart person. If you want to organize, we know how to organize. So we can get some troops down there, easy.
It's
You
for a
want to do a
lawsuit.
press conference or something? We got you.
All you need is I know in Queensbridge we had 15 litigants. That's it. So you don't have to have everybody.
group,
If
yeah.
15 people say, you know what, we want to actually take this to court.
Yeah, and you can do individual HP actions also.
Absolutely. So there's options.
Keisha did one, even though she's still in the court with us. She got her own individual.
Right.
So I guess I got to do mine too.
You know, so there are
I
options.
still got my issues with my bathroom.
Right.
Still.
Yeah. So don't despair. There are options. There are things that can be done.
Keep hope alive.
Absolutely. Any I guess last remarks you might want to share to the to our audience.
Well, I hope when it comes to you that you will be part of the discussion, not someone who finds out afterwards.
Wow.
That's powerful.
That's powerful. And I guess for NYCHA residents who are listening, who think it can happen to you, they're coming. You know, they're not playing around, and you're getting a chance to look at it from the other side. You know, of how it looks. You know, so it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all.
Yeah. We got about 5 more minutes before we shut down. So, what's on your agenda this week, Stan? Coming up.
I'm going actually. We have a resident who's going to be doing an HP action on Monday. So I'll probably be joining her, and we got a few more coming this week as well. And I just encourage folks, don't suffer in silence.
Yeah.
Take NYCHA to court. You know, you have some leverage. You know, and whether it's a group or individual, just don't suffer in silence. You know, so I'm encouraging folks to do that. We're doing letters of complaint. So if you have residents who have issues, I can assist them in doing letters of complaint.
Just Fix. Right?
Yeah, Just Fix. I sit on the board of Just Fix, and those letters have been very effective. You know, and I'm curious to see how they will work in this situation. You know, where you have this situation where they're converting. Right. I would imagine they'd be even more effective in that case. So, you know, we could definitely talk about that as well.
Put y'all in connection.
Absolutely.
Oh, y'all can do it yourselves. Y'all sitting right by each other after we shut the show. Yeah. What about you, Money Mike?
Smooth Money Mike. You all quiet over there.
I know.
What you up to this week?
Been up all night, be honest. But I want to know, you ever thought about anything good about Eric Adams? I bet no, right?
I ain't trying to bring you back in that space. Stop it.
You ever think anything good about him?
No, me personally, I don't like him. I'd say that. I don't like him, me personally. And the comments already enjoyed that. They're agreeing a lot with you.
Yeah.
And I'm agreeing with them.
Yeah. He was there today. He was late and he left after he spoke, literally. So I don't know.
And that's his MO.
Yeah, I think he's starting to stop and frisk back up and everything.
Yeah, all of that's coming back.
And he's
broken windows policy is like we're going back in time.
You can try. We ain't going with people, and we're not having that. We're not having that. You're not gonna be bothering our brothers and sisters walking down, especially our brothers walking down the block. No, you're not gonna be tossing them. No,
he's gonna be prosecuting those hopping trains.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't prosecute.
No,
they can be arrested.
They said they're gonna see if they're gonna prosecute them.
But he doesn't. He's not a prosecutor.
For jumping on the train?
No.
You mean arrest?
No, it said they're gonna think about prosecuting those.
Who says that? Who said that?
On the Pix 11 Instagram.
Well, from who?
From the
district attorney's office.
Oh no, they were saying that the mayor's trying to.
Yeah, but he's not a prosecutor,
he's
right?
Trying to go for that.
Yeah, he wants to change some of the. Yeah, he's not.
He's trying to go for that, and
so
that's crazy because most of them is children. Most
They've
of
been
them is
bothering
doing that. I mean, he just ready to arrest some children.
Yeah. It was arrest the other day, a lady, I believe, in Brooklyn, and the way her clothing was, some of her cleavage was, kind of, it was like 3 cops on her, and they claimed she hopped the train, and just the way they were handling her, and she was a young woman, because she's screaming like, get off of me, get off of me. I mean, it is what it is, but you wouldn't handle someone else with a different pigmentation like that. You know what I mean? And it's just the way they handled her was like, this has to stop. For even if she didn't pay her fare. Like, really? Come on. I mean, they want to criminalize everybody for everything. And no, we're not in a lawless society, because people want to say that. But if we are really in a lawless society, then it'll be a whole lot going on. But then we have rich people that get off. We have 45 that's done did these things and not prosecuted him and his kids. Like, come on. Come on. There's bigger crimes, and what they call that? What's that top thing? that thing they call with the president? The
Impeachment?
right, not impeachment though. Is another crime, treason. Like you've
Treason,
heard
right.
all these different things that people are getting away with, and they're worrying about little guys and girls and like just minor things. No, people. We're not saying nobody's advocating for people to commit crimes, but we're advocating for justice to be equal. Okay, because you can get locked up and sit in Rikers like Khalif Browder for 3 years over a book bag, but then you can rape somebody, and because of who you are, the complexion of your skin,
Right.
get off, or you could be found guilty by a jury of your peers, but they say prison is not for you because of the pigmentation of your skin.
Right.
No,
Right.
that's not. They're not complaining about those crimes.
Right.
So yeah, we got to and poverty. You can't. That's the one. The girl is that what you're trying to show me?
No.
Or that's something else. Yeah. But yeah, you can't. We're criminalizing poverty, right?
Yeah.
So we need to make the change that everybody's not living in poverty.
Right.
Make that change. Increase their SNAP. Increase their Social Security, whatever it is. Sure. Like bring everybody up to a normal wage or a living wage that they can survive, that they don't have to hop the train. And I don't qualify for the half fare card, but I don't work. I'm medically retired, but I don't qualify. I did the calculations. I wish I did, but I can't.
Right.
So,
right.
but I don't have to train. But I'm just saying, I pay full fare for now.
People do what they do.
Yeah.
Hop a train, get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't earn enough at work. So
Please,
let's
I
see
had
if
a,
the city
police-
council's strong enough.
Right.
But they when I was around 18 years old,
Shift gears.
I got arrested for the MTA telling me to go through the doors, but the police is on the other side of the door, and I guess
They
They
trapped
set you up.
yeah,
They
they
trapped
basically
you.
set me up. That was some sort of entrapment, but
Yeah.
that's
not uncommon.
I was young and dumb at the time. No, I wish I knew what I know now.
Did you get a ticket or arrest?
Oh, they arrested me.
Wow. Remember, they used to give tickets back in the day. But then remember, if you don't show up, don't pay that ticket, then that's a problem.
Well, I do have as we talk about the police, I don't know if I shared it before. I told you my son,
Yeah.
he had sickle cell, is in Mount Sinai Hospital. What I didn't know, I thought only security guards was involved. No, the police were there as well. Now that's some new information that just came out from them. So we being criminalized now in the hospital. Where my son.
So they came in the room too?
No, the police actually restrained him along with security.
Okay.
So
Who
now
choked them? Who choked them?
it was a police and a security guard. They both restrained them. They denied anyone choked them. But the question is this: why was the police there in the first place?
Why security and police restraining someone that's in the
somebody in the hospital? So the systemic racism that we deal with as black folks is out of control. We're criminals in the hospital now.
They have hospital staff to deal with.
Right. So it's a lot.
Police and security is not running the psych. He wasn't a psych ward, but I'm saying they're not running the psych wards when things are happening. No, I'm being real. Like they're not running up in there because them doors. Once them doors lock, everybody locked in there. So, but they're not running up in there.
Right.
So you're gonna run up into a young man's room?
It's incredible. I have more news about that as we go along. We will have a lawsuit and a press conference, and everyone will know.
Okay.
We'll see where it goes.
I'll be there. I'll help you facilitate and get it all in order.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, Community Board 8, which I'm a co-chair of the Social Justice Committee with Sarah Chu. We're having the Clean Slate Initiative, Clean Slate New York, a presentation by Marvin Mayfield. So that's scheduled tomorrow for 6:30 p.m. if anybody want to come on with that. It didn't make the last legislative session. I believe it was last year, like June, something like that, June or whatever, but it was last year. So it didn't make it. So they're still pushing. People are still pushing for that because a lot of our brothers and sisters are just humanity. They're coming from serving their time, and when they come home, they still have issues. They can't vote. They can't get good jobs. And they're building, desks and doing sanitizer and scrubs, and they're doing, not just license plates in there. Some of them are A1 barbers up there. They learn that there, and they come home and they can't really get a good job with the skill trade that they have. And bad enough, we know they wasn't making 15, 20 cent, 50 cent,
Right.
you know, even the cooks, they cooks. So we're hoping that, you know, when they come before us, and I just hope this bill gets passed. There's Assembly and a Senate bill, and I hope it will get passed. So people, it's clean slate is for New York, but hopefully it'll go throughout the country. Other people will follow it, but it's clean slate New York.
Okay.
So, and we had Marvin on our show
Sure,
last year
sure.
sometime. So, one more, anything else before we close it down?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for coming, sister.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for
phenomenal.
exposing and sharing that story, and exposing really what sound like a scandal.
Yeah.
You know, that's happening right in front of our faces. You know, and I hope people are paying attention and let's fight. It's absurd.
Sorry you have to go through this, but you know, 2 years, anything can change. Anything can change. We do have a new chair of the city council now, female. I could send you her number. I don't know if you got her number and stuff.
Adrian Adams.
No, she's the speaker, but the chair for housing. The housing committee.
Yeah, I have her.
You have her. Okay, all right. So yeah, I met her today too. So we got to start reaching out to these people and make them work for us. You know,
Right.
elect them. We got to get them to work. So we gonna get off. We gonna sign off. One night, you one people.
One night, you one people.
Thank you
and
for
make
tuning
sure,
in.
Yes.
And make sure y'all subscribe to One NYCHA TV.
Spell it out. Spell it out.
ONE NYCHA TV.
You got.
All right. You too.